Spain. And then NRG, of course, they're bringing in Zenil. So both teams have that like one extra player being brought in to the original 2/3 of their rosters. It's just a bit more about who's going to be showing up on the day. What difference matters most is ping more important than play style. And, well, these first 10 seconds in is, I'm going to say, pretty decently back and forth, but NRG to be coming out swinging from the fences is a big deal.
Yeah, and good news, just got word, Stizzy, he's on 88 to 90 ping today. So an improvement by about 30 ping. So I think Stizzy will be feeling a little bit better out there on the pitch.
Oh, yeah. And I'm
just
sure,
a little
like,
bit.
He's
not
used
much,
to playing on it a little bit, too. 80 to 90, honestly, isn't as bad as people think. I used to queue from Austria to, like, East on it. It's not as intense as most people think. But for a pro, it is a whole other story. Like, 5 ping makes all the world of a difference. So, I don't know. Placebo to you guys is not to the average player. But 50 seconds into this one, Arsenal set up for a goal here. Great interceptive touch there from Zenil, but the pressure's still going on off the sidewall, cleared out by Aqua, and Arsenal to stop and send back. I will say Dignitas looking a lot better than they did yesterday. They have so much more boost to work with, which gives them so much more space to do what they're doing right now, which is try and force these very tight angles on this net.
Most definitely looking solid in this NRG roster as well. We got to talk about them. They had a solid showing against Snowmen. It was a super low-scoring affair. They won in 3-1 fashion in the series. But the thing is, they never scored more than 2 goals in any game. So it was a bunch of super tight, super close, low-scoring games that they were able to win. And then they went against RMC, and RMC really just put on an offensive show that NRG weren't really able to stop too well. So if NRG can potentially get out to an early advantage, as they do, maybe they'll be able to hang on to that low-scoring advantage and get these 1-0 advantages, these 2-0 games, just like they did yesterday.
Yep, you definitely want to try and get onto the board and extend that lead, whether it is by 1 or by 2. Each goal is a fairly big deal, especially against a team like Dignitas that has the capability to turn a series into a little bit of a shootout. They're known for that passing play, trying to get around the defense a lot, not so much solo, but NRG, I will say, they have Aqua and Zenil in particular is where my eyes kind of fall on this one. Should be that player to really initiate a lot of those solo plays and clean up opportunities for NRG to really just build on their lead time and time again. But for now, Dignitas have been inching their way forward a lot towards this net here. You can see it. They've stopped NRG in their tracks twice now. It's the 3rd time that gets them out. A reset from Aqua and a follow-up from Zenil. Still isn't going to be enough, though, to get into that net.
Yeah, a very good attempt, though, either way from this NRG roster, who are probably feeling a lot of momentum on their side. They have the early advantage, and they're putting a decent amount of pressure onto this Dignitas half. Let's stop briefly. Evo has to get it past 1. Is able to do that. Now trying to find a way to creep this one past the defense. Not going to be able to happen just quite yet as the demo comes out. We're heading back the other way. NRG now trying to control the pace. Another demo which leads to a nice shot, but clear comes through from Stizzle.
Not too bad either, but I do got to say Dignitas, they've been trailing by that 1 for a while now, and that's not really a good sign. You got to be able to respond a lot quicker than that, especially against a team like NRG, where I feel like Dignitas does have the capability to get around them fairly quickly. Garrett missing connection on that center to him there, but pressure still continuing on for NRG as this one falls back out to that orange half. Arsenal's going to try and 1v1 it by himself. His flick goes wide, but the follow does come through from none other than Evo.
Evo clutching it up. He's been pretty solid for this Dignitas roster on the defensive end in their wins recently. I know that they've had some roster changes and things like that, but in the Shift Summer League, Evo really stepped up on the defensive end, get a whole lot of saves for his squad in their wins, and right now seeing him putting a little bit of work on the offensive end is definitely a good sign for him, his confidence. And now Stizzy potentially looking to find Arsenal in the mid. Evo's right there to collect and keep this one on the NRG half. Do get a little bit of a clear their way down back on the Dignitas side. Now it's all up to Evo. looking for the center to Arsenal. He does find him. Back up to Evo, needing to get it past one. Leaves it off the backboard. Is anyone there for the cleanup? No. And Garrett G sending this one back the other way.
Pressure's still going to keep going for NRG. It's Dizzy's clear over to Evo that actually is going to go on through. That stops momentum in its tracks for NRG. For so long, there's been a lot of pressure, but a pinch clear off the ceiling. And honestly, a really solid read there from Evo. I don't know if he pre-jumped this one. No, he just got up there just a bit fast enough to connect with it there, but I gotta give it to Dignitas on that. That's the Dignitas pass and play style, the spotting and connection that they've been wanting to put out onto the field. Now that it's finally connecting a little bit, they are able to get those leads and hold on to it. Now you're 25 seconds away from your first win here in this quarterfinal against NRG. Can you keep it going?
15 seconds left for NRG to come back into this one. Garrett G with the save, keeping Evo from getting that hat trick under his belt. Stizzy's there, couldn't line it up. And yeah, it looks like this one more than likely is going to end with Dignitas taking it. Unless we can see some major heroics here. As it doesn't get killed, it stays up. Another kill attempt comes out, but NRG are still there. Stizzy now, it's up to him. Nobody able to get it down just quite yet. NRG still surviving. But there we go. It's going to finally get brought down. Dignitas bounce back in this one because it's been a lot of low scoring affairs, and right now Dignitas are going to feel good about how this last one went in their favor. NRG had the first goal and they had the lead really up until a minute and 15 seconds left or so, but Dignitas with a little flurry of goals able to answer back, showing what they're made of. And that's what you have to have, especially in these community tournaments. You got to have that grit to feel like you're never out of it. It's never chalked. It doesn't matter if you haven't been able to get a goal for 4.5 minutes. It's still possible. Still time left. And that's exactly what they did, is they made the most of the time that they had.
You see Arsenal taking, or at least trying to take that boost away from NRG, which could slow them down. NRG has been playing a little bit more of a high game here. Aqua down over to Garrett G, just wide on the shot, but a great play nonetheless. And Stizzy going to try and send it back to them. Reset down, completely denied on the goal line by Zidneal. And that is an incredible save to keep this at a completely scoreless game one.
Evo looking to collect it. Stizzy off the backboard, but no, the follow through from Arsenal wasn't there. But the demo coming out is kind of big because it does leave a chance for Evo, but he had to win out the 1v1. Zidneal gets the save to get the clear, and now NRG putting pressure onto this Dignitas half. But the pressure literally lasted for about 2 seconds. So now we're back to Dignitas in full control of this one, doing everything that they can to starve out this NRG roster a boost and keep it in their possession. And they've done just a solid job yet again. Like, my goodness, NRG have to keep possession for a while. The double tap attempt comes through. And just like that, we're right back to Dignitas getting another chance.
Yeah, right now as time has gone on, I feel like the best way to describe this game too is definitely quality versus quantity. NRG just throw in this ball at that net as much as possible. Unfortunately for them, a lot of those shots have been extremely wide, and then here comes quality. Stizzy air dribbling this one down, taking the 1v1 on his own, and Dignitas really not forcing a lot of these plays unless the opportunity is really, you know, being given to them on the NRG half here. And Stizzy gonna find his way through off this one, but I feel like, again, that is pretty much the perfect way to describe this, is NRG feel like if you take, you know, 50 shots, eventually something's going to find its way through. The difference is right now Dignitas playing a little bit more patiently, saying we're not going to force it unless we can bait that defense out just enough to take a solid shot that is going to, in turn, give them a goal.
Yeah, the setups are just a lot cleaner right now for Dignitas. And, you know, if they can keep this going, then this squad could find themselves at more than a 1-0 advantage here in this one, as Evo tried to get it past Garrett. Couldn't find it in the lower 90. He is going to have another chance here if Zidneal doesn't get a touch to it, but he does. Dizzy tried to stop this one yet again at the midfield. And it really has been NRG just not able to get any any serious amount of possession, and we're 3 minutes into this game now.
Yeah, at the beginning of this game number 2, the NRG looked like they were able to hold on to possession for a decent amount of time, but like I talked about, a lot of those shots were just very, very high or extremely wide and off the post, and then Dignitas in turn, they just let NRG wear themselves out a little bit and then go and take their chance and opportunity to shoot. And you can see it, Dignitas really, they have the backboard covered. The goal line already has a defender on it as well. NRG is completely blocked out, and they haven't attempted that aggressive game yet where you're going for that bump or that demo to really open up a path, whereas Dignitas have been doing that. You see the bump come from Stizzy onto Zanil. You see the setup come through to Arsenal. It's exactly what I was saying. Dignitas are doing what NRG are low-key wishing they were, and that's the biggest difference maker, is that because Dignitas is so successful with clearing those paths out and connecting with each other, it's almost too easy for them to get around the defense right now.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, you're looking at this, and Dignitas are playing completely at their pace. NRG have a very similar pace where it's not, you know, super lightning fast, but Dignitas are just getting the better of them right now. They're playing NRG's game better than NRG is. And like you stated, NRG are looking to potentially get some of that momentum, some of that magic back onto their side. They've only got a minute left to score a couple goals and force this overtime, and they just haven't had the possession so far throughout this game to make me think that that's going to be possible. But that's the thing about Community Cups. Anything is possible. So who knows? We'll see if NRG can potentially come back in this game and tie up this series.
I mean, it's true. We've seen crazy, crazy things happen in this EWC NA Community Cup in particular. You asked me at the beginning of the day, you know, what kind of like is my vibe for what Champ Sunday is going to be like, and I said change. This whole weekend has just been craziness for everyone. This is NRG's moment to try and get back into it, but change has really just been in favor of Dignitas. 15 seconds left on the clock here in game number 2 regulation. NRG are still down by 2. Garrett opts to not get a second touch on it and leave it for Zanil to take a shot here, but Stizzy to fend off again, and that would have needed to find its way on through if NRG wanted a chance to try and tie things up. But for now, this one is going to hit the ground. Game number 2 goes to Dignitas, and so does Match Point. They've looked good in that game number 1. They kept that ball very close to themselves and connected pretty decently, but that game number 2 was a whole other story of just throwing, you know, that ball at the back wall and hoping something finds its way in. And unfortunately, against a Dignitas that's playing pretty decent defense right now, that's not going to cut it. You got to actually have some sort of a plan headed into that blue half there. Otherwise, you're just throwing darts completely blind and hoping something sticks.
Yeah, if NRG don't get the first goal of this game number 3, then I fear it might end up being a 3-0. Just because Dignitas so far have shown that they can hold NRG scoreless. And if Dignitas get in a situation where they understand that's all they have to do is shut them out the rest of the way because they already have that advantage, that early goal, then that's going to make it even harder for NRG, a squad that really couldn't put anything together the last couple of games. It's going to make it way harder for them to even have potential at a comeback.
Yeah, this is pretty do or die right now. I mean, in the very obvious sense as well that this is last chance for NRG. I will say I do like what I'm seeing from NRG, at least out of that first minute or so. There's been a few times where Garrett G has gone up and tried to clear out a little bit of a path for his teammates on it, but unfortunately for them, Stizzy continues to take this one away, and those follow-ups just continue to come on through from Dignitas, and their race back to defend these NRG clears. They're just faster. Dignitas is matching the pace of play that NRG is putting out. You talked a little bit about NRG needing to speed things up. It seems like they have. The problem for NRG is so did Dignitas, and they look just as connected as they did before.
Absolutely spectacular so far through this one. Zanil gets the save. NRG heading back the other way. Garrett was there, left it off on the backboard. Zanil, but Evo holds the line. And now Evo looking to apply the pressure, tried to find it off the backboard for a teammate, not going to be there. Garrett looked to get the clear, ends up going down to the deep corner. Arsenal collects it. He's flying high, sees a teammate down low. Evo, potential for the cleanup. Off the backboard, but no. Arsenal's still going to be there, making sure that it stays on the NRG half right here and now. Stizzy has to get up and win out this challenge, and he's able to do just that. Evo gets past another. This is dangerous for NRG right now. You have to get a solid clear, and this might be the one they were looking for.
Oh man, that almost could have been it too. Garrett, a few times throughout this game, has actually had some solid opportunities to find his way in. It's just unfortunate for him that Dig has been able to defend so much. Aqua tries to go for the dunk. Garrett just a little bit slow on the cleanup there, which means the save does come through. And Dignitas, still, they get to keep this at a scoreless game. They do break out of their own half on this attempt though. Evo trying to follow up his play, but Garrett takes it away. The 50 onto Stizzy goes in the hands of Evo, immediately sent to the backboard. And I like that coverage from Zanil. That's something that was missing in that game number 2, was that backboard coverage, and it gave Dignitas just a lot of space to work with. So cutting that off has been pretty good for NRG. We are still scoreless with less than 2 minutes to go.
We'll say that this one might be the chance. No, I thought that Evo had it. It gets saved away by Garrett at the last second. Dignitas applying lots of pressure, doing their best to keep this NRG roster at bay and off the board in the series. It's now been, what, 4 plus 5? I mean, that's 13 minutes of NRG being shut out in the series. That is a long time to go without a goal. So here and now, Dignitas so far doing an exceptional job in this series through 3 games. Anytime you can shut out a team for 14 minutes straight, if you don't win that series, something probably went drastically wrong.
Yep, for sure. Right now, NRG's defense is definitely leveled up and matched the pressure they've been faced to challenge with, but unfortunately everything just comes crumbling down at the 45-second mark. Evo put it up to the backboard. Arsenal shot was denied, but unfortunately for Zanil, you're low on boost. You didn't quite know where that one was gonna land. You try to make a jump at it, but those follow-ups, that last man Stizzy took everything in his power to put that one through. Now Zanil's gonna try and do the same here, and he will! Aqua got a tiny touch off of it, but this was still all Zanil at the end of the day. Off the ceiling, past Arsenal. He gets a dunk from the sky, an NRG to tie.
Wow, I mean, what a way to do it. NRG, they've been silenced for so long. Finally, they answer back, getting a massive goal. It's gonna help this squad's overall confidence heading into this final 30-second stretch. We're here now. Dignitas want to end this one now. Evo can't find the double. There's a lot of power behind it. It would have been extremely hard to stop if it was on target, but to their demise, it just was not. Now Dignitas need to do it one more time. Evo tried to get it past midfield. It gets intercepted yet again. The center comes through for NRG, who finally have a little bit of pressure onto this Dignitas half for really what feels like the first time in a very long time. And if they can get this one in, this squad is going to be feeling amazing. But no, we are heading to overtime, and this is where legends are made for real.
No, this definitely is. Dignitas is trying to redeem themselves from yesterday desperately, and they have done so quite successfully. They are 1 goal off of sweeping NRG and sending them out of the EWC NA Community Cup here. Arsenal going for double bump attempts, but nothing quite to come through. The center isn't going to be enough. Instead, this one fell to Garrett for a short moment. Zanil to try and take away, but the Dignitas pressure is not letting up. 30 seconds into this overtime, they've had a couple of moments where they're passing to each other, but they've all been cut off. Dignitas, they're going for the solo plays now. Stizzy takes this one down. Reset over 1. Follow-up from Arsenal to end it all. Dignitas send NRG home.
And in 3-0 fashion, my goodness. Dignitas with a great showing coming out in